Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. This is episode 145. Yes, we are still doing it. So much exciting stuff coming up. We have amazing guests, an amazing guest for this episode, and so many other amazing guests coming on. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you haven't rated us or reviewed, that would be very helpful, and I would be so grateful. It helps more people discover the show. And again, we love to hear from you guys. So if you want to reach out, please leave a comment. We are also available on YouTube. I know a lot of people don't go there for the show. It's mainly audio, but if you want to see a video recording, just remember we are on YouTube. So don't forget about that. Leave us comments. We will write back. If you have a certain topic you want us to cover or a guest, let us know. The show is for you, and we want to make sure that our listeners stay happy. So anyways, on this episode, I'm actually talking to an amazing gentleman by the name of Sean. Sean is what I would consider a jack of all trades. This guy is a very successful businessman, entrepreneur, and also a Asian American singer. His songs are amazing. They're beautiful. They've got great lyrics behind them. And we're actually going to do this in two parts. He's going to come on and we're going to talk about a little bit about his business, his golf course, and all the celebrities he's played with, along with his music career, and how he's kind of been transitioning from business to artist. And then part two is when he's ready to launch. So that'll be at a later date. He's going to be talking about a new project that everyone's going to want to definitely tune into, because this could be a good opportunity for people to get financially free. So that's exciting, but I can't talk about that yet because it's not launched. So this episode, tune in, get to know Sean, fun stories. This guy's played golf with Michael Strahan. I think it's so cool. I love Michael Strahan. I think he's amazing. I've always wanted to meet him. So I can't wait to hear the stories about how these two came together and all the stuff that Sean is up to. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a brief break, and we are going to be right back with our amazing guest on today's episode of Next to Madison, Sean Koh. Singer, businessman, entrepreneur, jack of all trades. I don't know what this guy doesn't do, and I'm so excited to have you here. How are you, Sean?
Thank you. I'm good, Madison. Happy to be here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So I first want to get into your music career. Your artist name is Koh, and can you tell us what that stands for?
Yeah, Koh, it's a play off my name, Sean Koh. So phonetically, Koh is my first initial and my last name, but I turned it into an acronym. ESKOH stands for Every Situation Can Offer Hope.
I love that. Because it's so true, and especially in times right now where people are just not knowing what's going on in the world and what's happening, and there's so much hate that seems to be out there. It's important that everyone remembers that there's always hope.
Definitely.
So, well, that's it. Okay, so talk to us about like your music career. How did this start? Because I know when I read your bio, you went to the Wharton School of Business. You worked for your family company. You're an amazing, successful businessman. How did this all start, the singing career?
I was always musical from a child. So I grew up, singing in church. So I guess, I grew up, leading congregations, to sing songs. And after doing that from a young age, I was recruited to go on tour for a gospel album at the age of 16. And then after touring in the US, did some cities on the East Coast, West Coast, also went to South Korea because, some of our team members, were very influential in the South Korean market. And there's a, big Christian community out there. I was, approached with a record deal, to be a K-pop trainee. And, unfortunately, at the time, the record deals in South Korea, were not very favorable to the artist. And, even now, so, the companies, have the upper hand compared to the artists. So fortunately, I had a backup plan, and I was accepted, to the Wharton School of Business and started my undergrad career there. But, it's just been a natural passion of mine to sing, write songs, and try to share hope as my artist name
Yeah.
shares. Yeah.
And didn't you start a company when you were in school, like in your dorm room?
Yeah. So when I was starting my freshman year at Wharton, University of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, it was a time of the battle rap craze, with Eminem, 8 Mile, freestyle rapping. So at the time, um, I wanted to do music myself, but being the businessman I was, I wanted to also follow the trend. So the first business I created out of my dorm room my freshman year was the record company, and with that message of hope, I really wanted to help people who are disadvantaged in Philadelphia
Uh-huh.
to kind of use their talents and have an outlet, and create a sustainable career so that they can transition away from more illicit activities. And some of these gentlemen had a criminal past, so a lot of them couldn't get any decent jobs. So I was able to work with other college students who are also passionate about music and passionate about this cause, to create essentially a college campus tour of battle rappers. And the way that we became popular was, every frat and sorority and student organization has a hospitality budget given by the school. So we would provide a menu-like service for live entertainment. You have your plain vanilla DJ and lights and disco ball, if you will, but
Uh-huh.
for an extra fee, you can get a live MC to come and rap against all the frat boys who are playing beer pong. So
That's
that kind of went viral before viral was a thing. I ended up partnering with some major music executives and record labels, and started writing, producing, and doing a bunch of other stuff as well. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing because most college kids are their biggest focus is drinking and then studying.
Sure.
Drinking is not not starting a business. I mean, they're just trying to get a job. It's like you were just miles ahead of all these people. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, a lot of people, like video games and like, various recreational activities. Me, I've always had kind of a purpose-driven life, I guess, from a young age, where, I wanted to use my time wisely. I wanted to empower others to reach their potential. And in doing that, I've been able to grow with them and become successful myself.
So how do you like what do you think is what was kind of that moment that you discovered your purpose at such a young age? Because sometimes people it takes almost till the end of their lives till they figure out their purpose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'm very blessed with a good family background. So that gave me a good foundation.
Yeah.
And, it might be cliche, but, the Bible, has a lot of good values and principles, and kind of gets you out of trouble, if you follow, the teachings, in the word.
Uh-huh.
So, for me, like, even though, I've gone astray and, I've made mistakes in my life, I always had that, kind of guiding light, if you will,
Yeah.
to to just do something meaningful. And the more you do meaningful stuff, it's rewarding, and you just want to keep doing it more,
Yeah.
and you really want to live for a legacy. And also, I came from a very entrepreneurial family, who took risks and didn't just follow the status quo, but over the different generations, created a new path for themselves. So that really inspired me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And was it your family that was part of Ernst and Young?
Yeah, so my father was a early partner and accountant at Arthur Young.
Yeah.
Arthur Young went on and merged with Ernst and Winnie, so he was there for the entire merger from the early years of E&Y, and he himself, was a pioneer in that regards, but then retired early and ended up, using his business skills to privatize the Soviet Union after it collapsed as well. So a lot of crazy entrepreneurs in my family.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's amazing. Like 100 years from now, your guys' family home is going to be a like a museum, like an historical site. This is where this happened.
Hopefully. And
Yeah.
also it's very rewarding because a lot of people just look at charity and philanthropy as things where you just throw money at a problem.
Yeah.
But I believe in the old adage that give someone a fish they can eat for a meal, teach them how to fish and they can eat for a lifetime. So having been
Yes,
able to
100%.
yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
the
and that's
whole
what
like hand up, not hand out. It's like teach them
exactly.
to create a bigger life for themselves and
And,
inspire.
and, and, and I have a funny story about how I learned about business is when I was young, my father wasn't around because he was, on business trips in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, overseas. So I would ask my mom, where's dad? And she would say business trips. So, that word business became something interesting to me. So I ended up going to a high school that had that was a business magnet high school. I went to Wharton and, business is really a tool I feel that can transform a lot of people from low economic status to get on their feet and then go on and bless other people as well.
Oh, 100%, absolutely. It's like I feel with the times that we're in right now, there so many people are kind of waking up to this broken system that was
Sure.
created, right? To kind of keep just a small amount at the top and then everybody else kind of a slave to the system
Yeah.
below. And people are starting to tune into it, and it's kind of amazing how it's like we take out a huge loan to go to college and then we get a job, and then it takes most people 40 years to pay it off, so they're just enslaved to this horrific system until they die, where
Sure.
it's like if we taught them more business skills and more financial skills starting in kindergarten, how
Yeah.
different the world would be, because then you're teaching them, no, you're the driver of your own life. You're in charge. This is what you need to do. You don't have to work 9 to 5 if that's what you don't want to do. And so it
Yeah,
is.
I don't, yeah, definitely. And I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the old captains of industries, uh, like the Rockefellers and Carnegies, those are all legendary businessmen, but they deliberately, created math, English, grammar, these basic subjects so that they can just make more workers. So
Yeah,
I do agree that people with the knowledge should transfer that knowledge, and that's the difference in you know losing everything or gaining everything at the end of the day.
yeah, and it's that old saying where you always hear, the more you give, the more you get. And
Exactly.
it's not just money. If you don't have a ton of money to give, you can give your time, you can give your knowledge, you can compliment somebody. There's so many kind of ways to give. But yeah, and I love it. And like we're going to talk about more of the crypto stuff on part 2 when you come back on, but just to kind of touch
Sure.
on it, one of the reasons I really do love the cryptocurrency space is because
Yeah.
it kind of gives the power back to the people and not these big conglomerates. And
Sure.
I've just loved that, being able to see people get wealthy who were once struggling 2 years ago.
Definitely.
And it's been like so inspiring. So it is a way, like, new businesses are kind of forming, and I know that you're very familiar with the blockchain and how new businesses are forming on that and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I was, one of the first people to introduce it to South Korea back in 2016, 2017, and it just keeps evolving exponentially. But like you said, it's this general movement towards transparency, decentralization, democratization, and ultimately, that reminds me of another biblical truth that, literally the truth will set us free, right? A lot
Hmm.
of people are living in these concepts created by humans and bound to, even currency and money is also a human concept. So the more we focus on value and exchange that value for something meaningful, I think we'll get back on track and be able to collaborate as a human race to really let everyone have the fullest life.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has been as far as, because you sound like have you read the Bible front to back?
I have, yeah. I mean, I always learn
Wow,
something new every time, but yeah, I've been fortunate too. You know,
that's
I
great.
wouldn't say I wouldn't say I was conscious the whole time because there
Right.
are some very, very elaborate parts, but I made my way through it. Yeah,
Yeah, I always said if they just made the Bible like written in today's words, more people I
sure.
think would read it, because it sometimes the language back then was a little difficult to kind of read.
Yeah.
Um, so what was some of the what are some of your favorite Bible verses that have kind of gotten you through hard times in your life?
Um, I guess I don't know the exact words. This is my own version.
Yeah.
This is the ESCO version, but God always it does good. I don't know how to say it. I guess basically he blesses those who love him, right? So there, I don't know what the exact. I botched up that verse, so my mom, a Sunday school teacher, will be very mad at me. But
Yeah.
basically, he works in all for those who love him.
Yeah.
Also there's Romans, do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, to test and approve what God's will is. Um, there's Apostle Paul. He says, when he's in jail, I know what it means to be well-fed. I know what it means to be hungry. I know what it means to be rich and poor, but
Yeah.
I found to be content through every situation. So that's kind of where my every situation comes from. But, literally, no matter how much despair you may be in, you can see some hope, or, someone can lend a hand and provide that hope in that situation. So much wisdom, so much truth,
Yeah.
uh, but I tried my best. I didn't know I was gonna be given a Bible quiz, but I tried my best.
Hey, no, I wasn't planning on it. It just kind of came to me. It must have been God being like, ask him about that.
Yeah, sorry, God. I want to study the Bible a little more. Yeah.
Exactly, right. Now, just your opinion. I don't know. I'm going to pull a Joe Rogan here and go a little controversial. Why do you think that the government has spent so much time removing God from education and school?
I mean, obviously, whenever humans get involved in something, it kind of adulterates a little bit. And I would say, like, organized religion, really hasn't been the perfect reflection of God's love, grace, and all these lofty values. So there's a lot of hurt people out there.
Yeah.
Whether it's the homosexual community, whether they've been seeing the church as a judgmental force of you know castigation, or kind of all these negative things. Because innately, even though there's people that strive to read the Bible and follow Christ, we're all fallen beings at the end of the day, and we're not the best representation of something that's pure and holy. So I think there's a lot of pain and hurt, and just misinformation about
Yeah.
what Jesus' life and Jesus' example. This was a guy who said that if you get punched in the face, turn your other cheek. This was a guy who, when all the water was gone at the party, he turned water into wine. So imagine someone at a party and you run out of alcohol and they turn water into wine. That seems like a pretty cool guy to me. So
Yeah.
it's just like you said, it's not communicated in like a relevant way. And even in the old days, even in Jesus's time, there were Pharisees and Sadducees who just try to beat people on the head with scripture. But if you don't have that love, there's another verse saying you're just a resounding gong. You're just making a lot of noise, but not really making an impact. So I think everything ultimately comes down to people kind of being hurt by religion.
Mhm.
I'm sure we've all been hurt at some time when we've been misunderstood, and
Yeah.
hopefully at the essence of it, God is love, and the Bible calls people to love everyone, no matter their race, religion, orientation. It says love. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. At a fundamental point of view of love, loving others, and just trying to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always said like I am like a Christian. I would say that's the religion I affiliate with. But
Yeah.
I've always, always said like, religion is mainly like man-made. Like God is
Sure.
all of us and loves all
Yeah.
of us and doesn't segregate us to say, oh, well, you have to go to this church or this temple or wherever.
Yeah.
And I've been, I have friends that were Mormons when I was growing up, and when you went to their wedding, you couldn't go into the temple to watch them get married. Like you could just go
Yeah.
to the party, which really wasn't a party because there was no alcohol, but we still had fun. But and it's like that's where you could see where people could be turned off by that because
Yeah.
feeling.
And it's a common theme that you started this interview with, where even companies, they just want to enslave people,
Yeah.
and control people. So, that's not, it doesn't stop in churches or organized religion. Unfortunately, we all have those problems, and the key is to not judge anyone else, but just try to love them. And
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to do. Be hopeful and love others. Yeah.
Well, you're on the right path. We just need more people to do that, and we will be in a beautiful place.
Yeah. Sure.
So, and just remember, you guys, it doesn't matter what you believe in or affiliate with. Just being kind to others and loving others is your only job, and that's just find it in your heart and just breathe God's love into everything you do and every person you interact with, and just watch how your life will transform and those around you can transform.
Yeah. And a lot of people who are, I guess, quote unquote, troublemakers in society, I think it's just lack of love growing up, lack of
Yeah.
nurturing. And, I would say that, whoever the worst person is, if I was growing up in their circumstance, I may be no different. So,
That's
I'm just fortunate for my upbringing, and I try to just pay it forward as much as I can.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. You're doing amazing stuff. So, what's kind of the focus of some of your songs? Obviously, it's hope, but where do you
Yeah.
kind of drive your inspiration for your lyrics from?
Yeah. So I'm an 80s baby, like late 80s. And I grew up
Yeah.
listening to 90s R&B.
Yeah.
So, in addition to hope and all these altruistic values, it comes down to like, love songs, R&B.
Mm-hmm.
My manager is R&B staple from the 90s, Jimmy Cozier. And, he's brought me around Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, and a lot of these, soulful singers. So,
Okay.
I'm trying to just bring back, that kind of love vibe, that makes everyone feel special again.
And so when did your first song come out?
I've been doing music my whole life. So, like I said, when I was young, I had a gospel career when I was
Yeah.
16. In terms of like my contemporary, like my recent career, my first single was Beautiful Lady, which was also endorsed by the Women's March in 2017.
Oh,
Because the
wow.
message of the song, you can check it out on YouTube or Spotify or my Instagram. But it's basically aimed at making every woman feel their true beauty. Once again, we're all made in God's image, so
Yeah.
we're no one to judge, somebody by their physical appearance. But that song I made in my dorm room, I think my sophomore year, just on the keyboard, and then it just came to me. I usually write songs in like 30 minutes or so. It just comes to me when I play some chords and come up with melodies and lyrics. Yeah.
That's 30 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, they say the best songs are, in an instant. Yeah.
So you're able just to kind of hear the melody and then the words and the inspiration and
Definitely. Yeah,
that's
exactly. And use your imagination.
that's amazing. And so so have you mentioned those artists, Alicia Keys and Mary J. Blige. Have you worked with any of them directly, like as far as singing with them?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Jimmy, I worked with Mary J. Blige on one of her songs that came out in a movie.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And then since then, my manager also has roots in Jamaica, so I've worked a lot with like, Sean Koh, a lot of Jamaican artists, and
That's so cool.
at the onset of COVID, I was stuck in Jamaica, on a tour. We had a funny name for the tour. It was Caribbean, like Caribbean,
That's awesome.
AOR.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like the beginning of COVID, so all the flights got shut down for a few months. So I was stuck there, and then I was trying to see the hope in the situation, and ended up working with Sean Paul, Shaggy, Bob Marley's family, Gloria Estefan, to do an online telethon and raise over $10 million for COVID-19 relief for the
Wow.
Caribbean. Because early on during the COVID pandemic, everybody was scrambling for ventilators, but
Yes.
the Caribbean didn't have any. They didn't even have healthcare resources. So we raised over $10 million for them, and fortunately, it didn't end up being as bad as we anticipated. But it was a great experience to work with all those people and to be on the same stage with them.
I mean, that's amazing. And have any of them become lifelong friends?
Yeah, I mean, we keep in touch, virtually, but I would say that we just have more of a professional relationship, when it
Yeah.
comes to music and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And so when do you have another album coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, so with this whole kind of NFT paradigm shift, I have about 50 songs that I've made, over the last few years. So we'll be doing exclusive drops. If you have Instagram, you can get updates at my Instagram, Truly Esco, TRULYESKOH.
Okay.
And I'm going to be a part of the launch of a brand new NFT platform called Tune.fm, headed by one of my partners, Andrew Antar. And it's the first NFT platform with zero gas fees and, making things as easy as listening to music on your phone. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so anyone can kind of go there and then so is it going to do you have to use Ethereum to get these? You said no gas fees. So
Yeah, so basically you have to, no, it's based on a Hedera hash graph, which is, more of an enterprise institutional distributed ledger.
okay.
Ethereum, Bitcoin kind of just came out of more of a grassroots approach,
Okay.
but they didn't anticipate, being able to do, enterprise level transactions. So, we've partnered with a Hedera hash graph who's supporting us in the launch as well, and we're going to get started with this music vertical, and then try to make a lot of other things more decentralized, like you alluded to
Yeah.
earlier.
Well, that's amazing. So if I'm going to go to Tune FM when it launches and I want to purchase one of your songs as an NFT, what do
Yeah,
I use to buy it?
you could just use your credit card. So we make it easy so that it's
Oh,
very painless. Yeah, no MetaMask installation, no crypto trading to get Ethereum to load for a gas fee. We're taking all the painfulness out of NFT transactions and making it as easy as Venmo. That's the metaphor we use. Yeah.
wow. Okay. And then where will it still be on the blockchain because it's an NFT? That's where it'll live.
Yeah, so it's on the Hedera hash graph, which is a distributed ledger. So, blockchain creates some inefficiency because it has miners minting blocks. What we have is a different kind of architecture based on the hash graph. And if you want to learn more, you can go to hedera.com
How do you
to
spell
see
that?
how it works. Hedera, HEDERA.com.
HEDERA.com.
Yep.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's
Google, Boeing, all the big companies already use it. So, it's a type of, a lot of people complain about high gas fees and time delays, on Ethereum. We've come to solve that, fortunately.
yeah, because I was just doing a thing where I was transferring some Ethereum where I keep it over to MetaMask, so then I could go to Uniswap and then buy something else. And luckily,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty educated in this space, so I get
Yeah. I
that.
mean, obviously, not only are you beautiful, you're brilliant, but,
Oh,
the average music listener and music fan, number one, doesn't have the tech savviness to do that.
yeah,
Nor do they
it's
have
true.
the patience and money to trade crypto. So, we want to unlock blockchain or distributed ledger technology for as many people as possible, and we're doing that slowly but surely.
Okay, so that's amazing. And then people will be able to invest in the success of this company. How?
Well, I mean, the token, the Jam, it's already if you look up JAM, it's on a couple major exchanges already.
Which ones?
Um,
Off the top of your
I
head?
don't know off the top of my head, but you can go to tune.fm and if you shoot me a DM or somehow get in touch with me, I can connect you with our PR group that's promoting the platform.
Okay, that's amazing. So, and you guys, just so you know, you can go to also the app CoinGecko or the website. And that's a good kind of area where you can find out where different coins are located because they're not all on standard exchanges. So that's a good resource.
In our case, a lot of tokens, if they don't have utility, obviously you see them crash because, Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though they're, I guess, storage of value, they really don't have any practical companies running on them yet. We really want to allow artists, who have been kind of screwed over based on social media, to leverage, the NFTs as a way to make money. So if you have a limited edition ESCO track, that in itself could be an investment, that you can resell later or, get royalties on, as you share that asset, across your network. Yeah.
I think that's so cool. So, okay. So instead of, because most people, when they see NFTs, that are familiar with buying it, you'll see a lot of them mint at like 0.085 ETH or something like that, or some will be 0.1 ETH. Now you don't have to do the calculation because it'll just be a flat out like 300 or 400 or whatever it's valued.
I mean, it'll be like $5, $20. You don't have to even do the currency conversion. You can just buy it with your credit card. But the NFT itself can be a mechanism where you can create a return. So it's like having an asset, it's like having real estate, and you're basically a landlord, and now you can charge for rent. Yeah.
So, and then it's on the blockchain, but it'll just stay on that platform. So if I want to then sell it to my neighbor for a higher price.
So we are building kind of interoperability with oracles so that you can transfer the asset to different chains. You can also, program into the asset that, if you resell it, you can make a profit. We really want to kind of get back to the world where it's all about values. It's not really about currency and tokens, because unless you have like the US government backing the US dollar, your currency is basically a pump and dump scheme at the end of the day. And we want to, really create real value based on the utility of music and other real assets.
That's exciting. And when is this going to launch?
We're aiming for the end of Q1, but maybe doing something earlier. We're also doing some pre-releases during the Super Bowl with some very reputable brands and athletes and teams. So, we'll be making that announcement soon. Yeah.
So are you guys going to have an ad? Like, are you going to be like TV stuff, or how am I going to see some of this?
Yeah, well, so right now we already have a streaming platform that's live.
Okay.
If you go look for tune.fm. So what we've done is we've taken out, the middleman in music streaming. So even though, I do use Spotify and other platforms for my music, I get paid 10 times more on tune.fm because there's no middleman, controlling the money. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so basically if you're an artist, you could just go to tune.fm and you can earn jam, and then you can exchange that for US dollars and cash out.
That's amazing. So when did the jam coin launch? Did it launch when you guys
I got involved about 2 years ago, or so around that time. But mind you, even though you had said like blockchain, crypto decentralizes value, up until proof of work and proof of stake, the main people being enriched are the miners and stakers. So I'm working on something new with a anonymous group called the Trinity, to launch a new way where there's no more this third-party validator making money off of every transaction, and you as the receiver can validate yourself, and hence no gas fee.
And this is where the part 2 is going to pick up. So stay tuned for that when it launches, because that's a whole episode in itself. I'm trying to just stay on the surface because I just want to dive right in, but I know you're not quite ready yet for that.
Yes.
Well, this is so exciting because I remember telling my dad, he goes, because he's a CPA, and
nice.
he says, I have, clients are calling me left and right. I just made all this money trading, like selling these NFTs and blah, blah, blah. Like, what do I do for my taxes? He goes, these people are making a killing in NFTs. And I said, great way to make money, but you have to be careful because you can also lose. And I said, I can show you how to, set up a MetaMask. Now, this is a 71-year-old tax accountant. He was like, no, you do it. I'll give you the money. You just set it up for me. I was like, okay, then you're going to
I
get
feel
what
you.
you get.
My father's also a 75-year-old CPA. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
But
like, man,
but
this
that's the thing. Like, yeah. Anyone makes money in a bubble. It just, you have to just time the bubble right. So there are
yeah,
people that got in early, staking and this Ponzi scheme. And then they get out early before everyone else gets in.
yeah,
What we're trying to pivot decentralized ledger technology is into real value, so that there is not this inflationary and deflationary up and down that you see in crypto markets, every so often.
yeah, absolutely. Because that's the thing is like with this crypto, it's like, how do you find that coin that's just about to take off? And it's
Yeah.
tough. And a lot of it is luck too,
But everyone knows, real estate is valuable because it's finite. Now with the NFTs, essentially you're creating a digital asset that's finite. So, that's what we're replicating, through our various portfolio
Yeah.
of companies. Yeah,
And
at
I
this
like
time.
that because I was actually digging around OpenSea today. I'm on some Discords with some new NFT projects that are launching. And I was digging around and it's just interesting. There's so many on there.
Yeah,
And some of them are really cool. And some of them just looks like my 7-year-old niece did it. I
sure.
mean, it's just a mess. And it's
Yeah.
like, how do you kind of go in and find that value? So you don't. That's the truth. You have no idea if you mint it for, let's say, 0.05 ETH, you have no idea if that could go to 0.025 or a zero, or it could be the next Bored Ape. So you're just taking a risk. That's why you have to buy what you actually like, not just
Yep.
because you want to make money on it.
And once again, if it's based on Ethereum or a proof of work protocol, when the market crashes, the floor gets pulled out of you. So, once again, it's about values don't change. It's just the technologies that change, right?
Mhm.
So, the same fundamental things I learned at Wharton, cash flow, barriers to entry, these kind of principles, they make sense in the blockchain world or crypto world. Because ultimately you want to have long-term value, unless you're doing a pump and dump scheme or arbitrage trade, which is just more of a scheme versus a real valuable proposition.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many on there that if they don't have utility and you can't find the creators, usually that's a sign to
Yeah,
kind of run. But I
yeah,
like this whole NFT thing around musicians
yeah,
because I feel that people can actually see the value.
yeah. And also, everyone loves
With
music.
what-
It's the most.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very highly engaged. Even the CEO of Goldman Sachs is a DJ. I don't know if you know that, Solomon.
I saw
Yeah,
him actually randomly 3 years ago at um, there's a Capri. It's a little hotel in Southampton.
yeah, yeah.
He
Sure.
was DJing there.
So
It's like,
music is a ubiquitous value, and now we're able to create it into a commodity that could be traded. You know,
and
so
I
now
love
in the
that.
future you could trade your music NFT, for a steak dinner, or if you're vegan, for some tofu. So we're creating all these pairs that never existed because up until Web 2, all the information was closed and centralized. Now with this information public, you can find somebody out there that wants to get some music for a hot meal or a t-shirt or something. And we're very excited to unlock that Web 3 potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's so exciting. I'm still trying to kind of wrap my head around just a little bit, just because I was a little confused. So an NFT obviously is something that's unique. So if an artist releases a song, well, let's just take an older artist right now.
Okay.
Let's say I can't even think of a song right now because I'm trying to think of a song. What's a song? Let's just say Shania Twain wants to release one of her 90s country songs. I
Okay,
don't even know what the
cool.
name is. As an
Yeah.
NFT.
Yep.
It's on Tune FM. I go buy it with my Amex. I own that.
So once again, so when you go to just to be totally clear, like if it's an older song, it depends on the rights holder. Fortunately for me, I own every song that I make because I'm not signed to a label that owns my IP. So
Okay.
sometimes what you're going to see is a lot of artists have signed their IP over to companies,
Yeah.
for an advance payment or something like that. But I'm assuming Shania Twain's old songs are already owned by Sony, BMG, or someone else. But in the case that I had a song with free ownership, cleared just for myself, I would be able to upload it just like you can upload a post on Instagram. Very simple.
And so
And
my
then
benefit of owning that NFT is what?
so once again, it's a fungible token. So it's like a fungible value.
Uh-huh.
So only you have, like, once again, this type of real estate or value, and you have one of limited number. And when you have a limited supply and you have a high demand, what happens? The price goes up. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you going to release then, is there going to be a bunch of NFTs per song?
Yeah, I mean, so, like, there's also NFTs that you can create for videos. So I'm also one of the pioneering artists that are going to exclusively release an NFT of my music video before it goes on YouTube. Because on YouTube, at most for 1 million views, I'll make $1,000 from
That's
ad
it?
revenue. Yeah, that's all you make, actually. But if you are able to turn one view into $1 for 1 million views, you're going to make $1 million. Does that make sense?
You think you can do that?
Yeah. So I mean,
Wow.
it's just
That totally
it's
changed.
more valuable. Yeah, even if I make 1,000 views, I'm making $1,000. It's just kind
Yeah.
of taking away those middle layers, like YouTube. Obviously they have the advertisers. They have YouTube. They have the investors of Google. They
Yeah.
have the record labels. They have the managers. So that value never gets to the creator. Whereas with NFTs, you're removing all that. You're decentralizing, the whole platform, and it's just the artist and the fan. So that money goes directly to the artist, and you get more value per click or view or whatever the metric is that you program into your NFT to monetize it.
And this seems to be the way that all artists want to go because
Sure.
of, so are you working with any right now that are?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, working with a lot, a lot of it is kind of confidential, but,
Right.
we have a lot of Grammy Award winning talent, that we're kind of teaching this new process to. And we have a lot of big drops coming out soon. But a lot of people kind of look at NFT only as an art, music, entertainment thing. But this is a transformative also in capital markets, metaverse, supply chain, because now you're able to take every value and make it into a finite digital instrument. So in the future, let's say that, your house where you're at in Colorado, you can sell fractional ownership in that as an NFT, so, maybe somebody will want that somewhere, to be in the future museum of Madison,
Yeah.
who knows?
Isn't that amazing? I
So
mean, the whole world, and I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable, but it's like, I feel if I'm not reading about something about Web3 every day, I'm totally behind.
yeah, Web3 is just basically taking the middle company out of the equation and letting buyer and seller to interact directly, and kind of creating a way to essentially productize or create, take anything digital and make it monetizable and
Yeah.
limited.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing. So you guys definitely check that out, tune.fm. And then if you want to read more about the technology behind it, the hedera.com, correct? And then
Correct.
Jam, go find it on CoinGecko. I know I'm going to be doing that. Real quick though, before we go, I want to touch briefly on DAOs. DAOs is a big word that people are starting to hear. A lot of people are saying,
Yep.
what the hell is a DAO? I know what it is,
Yep.
but I want you to explain it to the audience and why these are important and so hot right now. Because I know you have a DAO, right?
Yeah, so DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So as I said earlier, Web3 is all about getting rid of the middle person or the middle centralized authority. So getting rid of the CEO and executive management at a company and letting all the members kind of autonomously figure out a way to operate. We were connected. Shout out to TJ.
Yeah,
And
love our
yeah,
TJ. We'll get him on the
yeah,
podcast soon.
awesome. So TJ, John, myself, a couple of the early pioneers involved with Crypto Mondays. We have a DAO, and we're kind of taking all the Crypto Mondays around the world. Originally launched by Lou Kerner, one of the OGs in crypto, and we're figuring out, this is a very new type of structure, figuring out how to let everyone have their say and have their input. Because if you look at traditional companies like Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has all the power, but at the end of the day, it's the users that create the value, right? So how do we take that, I don't know how much they're worth, hundreds of billions of dollars of Facebook market value, and give everyone their fair share for contributing to the network? I think that's the premise of what a DAO is at the end of the day.
I mean, it's amazing because can you start a DAO for kind of anything?
Pretty much any organization. I mean, it's very early stage, and with early stage, there's going to be a lot of trial and error. But I think it's transformative, because once you wrap your head around Web3 and you're getting rid of a centralized authority, the DAO is what makes the most sense, because even corporations may not even be relevant anymore in Web3.
Absolutely. I mean, I need to talk to you offline. I just had an idea that came up, but I don't want to dump it yet until I figure it out, because I don't want to give away my idea.
Let's leave the suspense for the viewers, for the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. What did she create?
Exactly.
Because I just had a thought process. So
Cliffhanger.
It is amazing to be able to put the power back into the people's hands, and I definitely do love that. And then let's talk about real quick. You're a big golfer.
Okay.
That's correct, right? I mean, you look like you had a great shot when I saw you on video.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, on the golf course. That's where I realized that, all the big business deals don't happen in the office or the boardroom. They happen on the golf course. My family, I guess I'm the Asian altruistic Donald Trump, if you will.
Okay.
My father is a mogul in his own right, and he owns a golf course called Manhattan Woods Golf Club. And right now we're preparing for another shoot of On the Green. I think you saw the pilot of our kind of first
I was going to
season.
talk to you about that. I do love it. It's great.
But I wouldn't do my family justice if I didn't know how to play when my family owns a golf course. So
that's true. That could be a little embarrassing if you were
exactly.
on the driving range just hitting balls off into the left-hand side.
I grew up playing like football, basketball, more high impact sports. But as I get older and as I realize the value of relationships, golf has really helped me have a platform for that. And during the Corona pandemic, golf was probably one of the most booming pastimes, because they're socially distanced outside, and that's where everybody was. It was the hot spot, over the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's funny you say that about your parents, or like the business deals get done. I remember I was 12 years old. My grandparents had retired down in Sunset Beach, North Carolina, and they were in this golf community. And we went down there. My brother and I flew down there because my parents were too busy because of tax season in March on spring break. And my grandma said, hands us 2 golf clubs and said, go down to the range and don't come home till you know how to hit the ball. We're like, huh? Nice. She's like, here's some money, buy a bucket of balls. She goes, you guys will never be successful in your life if you can't swing a club, because every business deal is done on the golf course. And we're like, all right, here we go. She was right.
Definitely. I mean, when you play for hours, like, 3-4 hours with someone, 18 holes, you really get to know someone. And they say that through their golfing, you can get to know what kind of person they are. So your grandma was right. Thank you, Grandma.
Yeah, she was right. I'm still not a great golfer because it's a game of consistency, but at least I can keep up. So that's why I'll never say no if people say, oh, do you want to come play? I'm like, absolutely.
Well, I love to extend the invitation for you to Manhattan Woods, and who knows, maybe we could do a podcast there one day as well.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. That'll be a great time. Well, that's amazing. This has been great, and I'm glad that. So this will be a part 1. You guys kind of know who Sean is. So the second part, we're going to dive into what he's kind of secretly up to and the next big opportunity. So you're not going to want to miss that. And in the meantime, obviously check out Tune FM, Jam, Hedera.com. And where else can they find your music?
My website's eskoh.com. And all my social handles are just truly, TRULY, ESKOH. And thank you, Madison, for this delightful interview. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. I appreciate, I know you're a busy guy, the jack of all trades. So I'm honored that you took an hour out of your time to spend it with me. So thank you. I feel very blessed. Maybe it was God intervening saying, oh, he's going to go home on Madison's show.
Sure.
And to everyone who's listening, wherever you are, I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.